Teachers can benefit dramatically from a serious educational trip to Israel. Classrooms Without Borders creates a way for teachers to bring back their experiences to the classroom with a program called Inside Israel.
Basically looking to learn about their culture. My students travel to Israel frequently. I've been teaching in a Jewish day school for, this is my 4th year. So really I would like a sense of just to be able to associate with them in terms of their history and their culture. And you know, when they talk to me about the Beit Mikdash and you know these places, I really want to be able to put a place with the name.
I would like to be able to incorporate more Jewish studies kinds of things into the regular classroom. They go to a Jewish studies class, but I would really like to be able to pull some of those more holidays and things like that and try to involve it more in the themes that I do in my own classroom.
Each study seminar begins with a series of pre-trip workshops in which teachers, acquiring the complex range of competencies, knowledge, and attitudes needed, requires an active engagement with the history and culture of Israel. Here the teachers begin their journey that will be intellectually and physically challenging.
As we were landing at Ben Gurion, I looked down and I saw the sea, of course, and then I saw Israel, and I've never been here before, which is one of the goals of this trip. And seeing with my own 2 eyes the land that our people have fought for and lived for and died for thousands of years is a very overwhelming experience. As we began our trip, we're going to different sites. The feeling that God took a map and folded it up into the small state of Israel was, I just had the same feeling over and over again.
One of the goals of Inside Israel is to increase the teacher's knowledge base. This will enable them to take back to the classrooms first-person experiences and perspectives that will expose students to ancient and modern realities.
It's been an experience unlike any other. Getting an appreciation for the culture and the land and the people here in Israel is just, breathtaking. And so if that's what I take back to my 6- and 7-year-olds in the classroom, I think just being proud of the land of Israel. It doesn't have to be about being Jewish. It doesn't have to be about eating the right food or speaking the right language. It's just a love of the country and being appreciative of all of the wonderfulness that this land really has to offer.
Things that we learned can only be really experienced because I've read so many books, seen movies about Eretz Yisrael and seen movies about the Holocaust, read many, many memoirs because I'm very interested in people's lives. But coming here, it seemed that the lives of the people came to life, and I attribute that somewhat to our guide and somewhat to the people that we're with. It just seems that this is real, that history is real, it's life.
Being here myself really shows me, and hearing the history and seeing how ancient and how deep the roots go here for the Jewish people, it just is, I'm going to be able to take that understanding back for one thing. And I think I'm going to be able to, I will have a desire to connect in more and more of my curriculum in some way or another back into the either the land of Israel or the Jewish faith.
A primary motive for this type of experience is to create a way to bring back the experience to the students in the classrooms. Using their own unique experiences as a basis for reflection, teachers can understand why these hands-on experiences are so powerful and how our classroom settings can incorporate similar elements.
There's always something that you can take from every of the places that we've gone and all of the experiences that we've had happen, be able to put that into a professional light.
I just feel like I'm home. And every single experience that I had, something clicked that I felt like there was a connection between our past as the Jewish people, our present, and our future. And I feel that the way our trip was organized in such a way that it wasn't isolated places that we went to. I felt like we were going through time.
I teach kindergarten, and I think for them it's all sensory. It's all about understanding the emotion, the love, the touching, feeling, understanding, and bringing things back, Hebrew books and things that they can really embrace, and really to get pictures that they can see and understand. I think helps to bring back a love for the country, a love for the beautiful city, and to help them to make a connection to Eretz Israel. It's very important to me.
Archaeology, history, geography, and even math are starting points for discussions and lessons that teachers will bring back to their various disciplines.
We went to El Kantor today and saw an archaeological site that, as nowhere else in the world, they are literally rebuilding the synagogue there with the original material. It is just amazing.
There's an archaeologist and a scientist laser tagging these rocks that he can piece together to reconstruct this synagogue from so many years ago. And I teach a unit on archaeology and fossils, and to be able to show the kids my pictures and possibly pull up videos of what they're actually doing there, I think it will give them a real life sense that I'm not just showing them fun rocks in class and we're not digging out the playground to find these fossils for no reason, that there's actually people out there who are finding these amazing things in the land that they come from and they always tell me about.
Students, no matter their background or intellectual advancement, arrive in our classrooms with a wealth of lived experiences. A teacher's role is to develop activities that connect learners with this prior knowledge so that they experience subjects as relevant, meaningful, and applicable to their world outside of school.
I just think it's really important that when you're teaching in a Jewish school that you understand the culture in which a lot of the students come from, and their religion and the background and how their houses are and how they celebrate Shabbat, and being able to see all those different aspects in real life, and being here in Israel, seeing Shabbat yesterday and then what we saw today, and really bringing that back to the classroom, I think is going to be important.
I think I can share with the kids how even though I'm Christian and they're Jewish, we have a common ground here, and there's different things that I can share with them, just like I'm learning all of these things about their culture and their religion. I think it's nice to have a conversation with them and go back and forth.
I thought one of the most meaningful experiences was the day we spent in the two different schools. Hearing people talk about their feelings, raw feelings in some cases, I thought was just fascinating. And and to continue with this concept of perspective, look at Masada as another perfect example. Like, from some people look at it as this historical event where one thing happened, but then if you look at it a slightly different way, it's a completely different story, and it opens the door to discussion.
The programs offered by Classrooms Without Borders aren't passive experiences. They're active adventures, engaging the mind, heart, soul, and body. We explore communities and their histories while traveling in the footsteps of ancestors by foot and by bus to make up-close and personal contact with the past and present.
I found myself very emotional throughout this trip. I haven't been in Israel for over 24 years. I came here as a student right after high school. It's amazing to be back here and to revisit some of the places that I saw and see the changes in the land and enjoy the development and the growth and the beauty of Eretz Yisrael once again. I'm enjoying that very much, and it's affecting me also, I think, as a teacher. I teach about a lot of the places that we've gone to, and I feel like being able to see them through that lens at this moment is having a huge impact on me in the way that I understand the places in a different way. Just walking on them and seeing them and enjoying the tour and hearing all the information is giving me a new perspective, a deeper perspective.
Personally, I feel this whole country is just perfect, picturesque views everywhere you drive. I mean, everywhere is mountainous, so you have a beautiful view of, all the other towns that surround you in smaller cities. Driving into Jerusalem, though, was definitely different and unique in a way that all the buildings are made out of like a specific brick, which really sets the city apart from all the other cities that we've visited so far. It just really makes it beautiful and, you know, historical almost, you know. You just know that there's so much history here just by looking at the buildings.
I teach Israel, and it was becoming frustrating for me that I have not been here to touch the land and touch the people and the children. And children need concrete experiences, and I feel a lot more prepared now to go home and bring this back to my students.
The scenery is unparalleled when standing at the Dead Sea, the lowest point on Earth. You will literally float on water. You take the cable car up to a spectacular view of the desert and the Dead Sea from the ancient Jewish fortress of Masada.
When I put my feet in the Dead Sea, I immediately thought about my first graders, because we study solids and liquids, and we talk about something called oobleck, where it's a solid and a liquid, and that's kind of what the Dead Sea felt like. It was a little jelly, but still a liquid, so it was weird. And then I thought about my fourth graders for when we talked about water and buoyancy and how we were floating because of the salt levels in the Dead Sea. So I was thinking about them the most of the time that I was in there.
In Israel, the Bible is no longer a storybook, but it actually becomes a living narrative. Walking the narrow streets of Jerusalem, exploring the religious, historical, and modern buildings. Yes, even taking time to shop.
Shopping's been good. Today we went to the Arab markets, and that was a lot of fun. They're really good. You have to haggle a little bit, but they're always up for doing that with us. And you know, they're always really nice and polite. They want the business, and we're happy to give it, but there's a lot of variety, and I don't know, it's been fun.
Today we went on the Christian tour around Jerusalem, and what was really special to me was we did the Stations of the Cross, and our tour guide Avi showed us each station and where it would have taken place throughout Jerusalem and what happened at each station. And then we ended up at the church site where Jesus was crucified and resurrected. It was really interesting to learn the background information on what went on with that church, how it was burned down and reconstructed, and what things were still authentic and what things were reconstructed with Greek Orthodox and the Catholic side. So that was really special for me since I'm not Jewish. It was neat to see that in Israel.
Jerusalem is also Israel's official capital city, although not everyone agrees on that. You'll explore the Old City, where the most holy sites, including the Western Wall, offer time for reflection. Welcoming the Sabbath with music and prayer from a rooftop overlooking the Western Wall is just one of the many experiences teachers have on this study seminar. Teachers will witness firsthand the extraordinary efforts of organizations while discovering and responding to the challenges facing communities in Israel today.
First and foremost, I enjoyed being a student again. You know, my primary role is to be a teacher, and it's nice to be on the other side of the table. As an educator, I think it's very important to be continually increasing your own knowledge so that you can better educate your students. So that's been very important to me.
As the Jewish people's living memorial to the Holocaust, Yad Vashem safeguards the memory of the past and imparts its meaning for future generations. Established in 1953 as the World Center for Documentation, Research, Education, and Commemoration of the Holocaust, Yad Vashem today is a dynamic and vital place of intergenerational and international encounter.
The most memorable thing for me from this trip is touring Yad Vashem. It's just I've been to the Holocaust Memorial in Washington, D.C. However, I was only 18 years old, and I still remember walking through the Holocaust Museum in Washington, D.C. This one was a little bit different, being it that I'm in Israel, the home of the Jewish people. The whole orientation of the building, the way that it's set up, where you're walking down into the building and then on your way back up you're walking out. Everything has a symbol, and our guide did a really excellent job of personalizing our tour through Yad Vashem and giving us personal stories about people and sharing all the things that he knows. It was very touching and will stay with me forever.
For teachers outside of Israel, it's not a common subject. It's not a common experience. So I really think it's very important. And I think something else, going here, and they could, touch the youth around them, the groups of soldiers, the group of Israelis, the groups of people who came with birthright from all over the world. That's also part of the experience we have here in Yad Vashem.
I think that the enormity of this place, you don't need to be Jewish to understand the real gravity of the situation, where you just see people, people that are regular, normal, everyday people that were shopkeepers and, doctors and lawyers and librarians and from every walk of life.
Walking through Yad Vashem was hard. I've been to I've been to the Holocaust Museum, and I've read many, many books on the Holocaust. I've studied about the Holocaust. Seeing the visual images is very emotionally brutal, as it should be. Walking through the Children's Memorial was a difficult experience. It's very powerful, and somehow experiencing it here in Israel is doubly powerful.
We hope that you will consider taking an emotional and educational seminar with Classrooms Without Borders and discover for yourself and your students what is inside Israel.
It's been a tremendous experience traveling. Literally, I felt like we were a class of students traveling around with teachers, and the borders were not there.